Number 8. The Radium Girls. Imagine being told that glowing in the dark was healthy. That's not a Marvel origin story, that's workplace safety in the 1910s. Enter the Radium Girls. A group of young women hired to paint watch dials with luminous paint laced with, you guessed it, radium. The catch: they were instructed to lick their brushes to make a fine point, repeatedly, all day every day, because apparently toxic radioactive material wasn't considered a workplace hazard yet. The paint was promoted as totally safe, even glamorous. These women were literally shining at parties, like human glow sticks. Meanwhile, inside their bodies, radium was replacing calcium in their bones and turning them into ticking time bombs of necrosis and cancer. Their jaws literally disintegrated. One woman went to the dentist with a toothache and left without a jawbone. Yeah, body horror meets corporate negligence. When the women finally realized something was wrong, and that maybe glowing teeth weren't a superpower, they took the company to court. The battle was long, nasty, and full of denials. But the Radium Girls won. Barely. Their victory led to labor safety laws we rely on today. So next time your job gives you free snacks, be grateful it's not uranium cupcakes. Number 7. Unit 731. Warning: this one is the stuff of war crime nightmares. If you thought mad scientists were fiction, you haven't heard of Unit 731. During World War II, Japan ran a top-secret military unit disguised as a water purification team in Manchuria. In reality, it was a human experimentation lab straight out of Satan's Pinterest board. Scientists there performed experiments on prisoners that make Frankenstein look like a pediatrician. They froze people alive to test frostbite treatments, dissected conscious patients without anesthesia, and infected victims with plague and cholera to study the effects. One experiment involved sealing people in pressure chambers until their eyes popped. Another released infected fleas to test bioweapons on whole villages. You know, fun research. The worst part? After the war, the U.S. granted immunity to many Unit 731 leaders in exchange for their research. Translation: hey, good war crimes! Can we borrow your notes? These monsters walked free, and some even got cushy government jobs. If this were a horror movie, you'd call it unrealistic. But it's just humanity, being humanity. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. It means a lot to me. Number 6. The London Beer Flood. What's more terrifying than drowning in beer? Sounds hilarious until it isn't. In 1814, a massive vat of fermenting porter at the Mix and Company Brewery in London burst open like a bloated soda can. Except this soda can held over 135,000 gallons of beer. That one tank explosion caused a chain reaction, bursting several other vats like some twisted Willy Wonka domino effect. A tidal wave of beer, yes, beer, came crashing through the brewery walls and into the surrounding neighborhood. We're talking 15-foot, high waves of alcohol slamming through tenements. Brick walls collapsed, basements flooded, and people were literally swept away in a frothy flood of porter. 8 people died, including a child at a wake. Talk about irony overload. And because it was 1814 and the legal system had the energy of a shrug, the incident was ruled an act of God. No one was held responsible. Except, of course, the poor who lived in the affected slums and suddenly had to explain how their loved ones drowned in beer. So yeah, beer may be liquid joy at a party, but history says it can also be a sudsy death trap. Cheers. Number 5. The Mad Gasser of Mattoon. Picture this. It's a warm summer night in 1944. You're relaxing in your small-town Illinois home when suddenly, you feel faint, your throat burns, and your legs stop working. No, it's not seasonal allergies. It's the Mad Gasser. For weeks, residents of Mattoon reported strange smells, paralysis, nausea, and shadowy figures lurking outside their windows. The local newspaper quickly dubbed the culprit the anesthetic prowler, later known as the Mad Gasser. That's right, someone, somewhere, was allegedly sneaking around with gas-based weaponry like a discount Batman villain. Police were baffled. They couldn't find footprints, evidence, or any clear motive. Some thought it was industrial pollution, others blamed mass hysteria, and a few brave conspiracy theorists insisted it was a rogue chemist testing homemade nerve agents. Because why not? Despite dozens of reports, the Mad Gasser was never caught, never identified, and may not have existed at all. But for one eerie summer, a town was held hostage by invisible fumes and late-night paranoia. Basically, this was the purge, but with less murder and more peppermint-scented fainting. Number 4. The Tanganyika laughter epidemic. Laughter is supposed to be the best medicine. Unless, of course, it becomes a contagious neurological nightmare. In 1962, in a village near the shores of Lake Tanganyika's modern-day Tanzania, 3 schoolgirls started laughing. Innocent enough, right? Except they couldn't stop, and their laughter was anything but joyful. It came with fits of crying, random violence, and days-long episodes of full-body spasms. It was like their nervous systems decided to throw a rave and forgot to invite their brains. Soon, the laughter spread to other students, then to nearby villages, then to complete strangers who had never even seen the original school. Hundreds of people were infected by uncontrollable, often debilitating laughter that could last for hours or days. Schools were shut down. Adults were quarantined. And the most terrifying part? No one knew why. Some researchers blamed stress. Tanzania had just gained independence and people were emotionally overwhelmed. Others leaned toward mass psychogenic illness. A giant group panic attack and clown makeup. Either way, people were laughing themselves sick for months. So if you ever find yourself laughing so hard you can't breathe, maybe double, check it's not a historical repeat, and not just that one TikTok guy falling off a trampoline. Number 3. The Great Molasses Flood. Molasses. It's thick, it's sticky, and it should never move faster than a snail. Unless you live in Boston in 1910, then it becomes a sweet, syrupy death wave. A massive storage tank holding 2.3 million gallons of molasses exploded in the North End, sending a 25-foot-high tsunami of goo roaring down Commercial Street at 35 miles per hour. That's right, molasses, speeding at you. Buildings were flattened. A truck was flung into the harbor. Horses were swallowed whole. People were literally trapped and drowned in molasses. It claimed 21 lives and injured around 150 more. Survivors described the sound as a deep growl, and the feeling as being caught in quicksand made of pancakes. Okay, maybe not that last one, but it's not far off. The cleanup took months. And thanks to the stickiness of molasses and the trauma of shared horror, residents claimed they could still smell it on hot days decades later. You know it's a tragedy when your descendants inherit the scent. So next time someone says, slow as molasses, just remember, once upon a time, it was fast enough to kill you. Number 2. The Man in the Iron Mask Who Was Reeled. No, not Leonardo DiCaprio. The actual man in the iron mask, you know, the mysterious prisoner from 17th century France who was locked up for decades with his face permanently hidden. Yeah, that guy. He wasn't just a literary fever dream. He really existed, and no one is entirely sure who he was. This faceless man was kept in high-security prisons, moved constantly, and always masked. According to records, even the guards weren't allowed to look at his face. Some say the mask was velvet, not iron, which honestly makes it weirder. Like the prison system was going for fashion, forward fascism. Rumors flew. Was he the brother of King Louis XIV, a disgraced noble? A man who knew too much about cheese tax fraud? Voltaire? Yes, that Voltaire claimed the prisoner was the king's twin, hidden away because royal baby twinning was politically messy. Others think he was just some unlucky messenger who stumbled upon the wrong letter and got lifetime solitary for it. Whatever the truth, this guy lived and died nameless, faceless, and silenced. It's like being permanently ghosted by history. Honestly, if this were a horror movie, it'd be called The Forgotten, and it would 100% have a twist ending involving royal cover-ups and identity theft. Also, imagine how itchy that mask was. Historical horror with a side of dermatological distress. Number 1. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. And now for the cherry on this anxiety Sunday. The Dyatlov Pass Incident, Russia 1959. 9 experienced hikers enter the Ural Mountains. None make it out alive. And what rescuers found will have you deleting every hiking app you've ever downloaded. The campsite was a mess. The hikers' tent was slashed from the inside. As in, they cut their way out, barefoot in sub-zero temperatures. Bodies were found scattered across the snow, some nearly naked, some with bizarre injuries like crushed ribs and missing eyes. One was missing her tongue. No big deal. The official Soviet explanation, compelling natural force. Which is government speak for we have no freaking clue. Over the years, theories have ranged from avalanches to infrasound, yes, creepy low-frequency sound that makes you panic for no reason, to KGB experiments to, of course, aliens. Because when in doubt, slap an alien on it. Recent studies suggest a small, delayed avalanche might explain some of it. But honestly, The sheer weirdness, the eerie forensic details, and the hush-hush vibes make this one feel less like National Geographic and more like the Blair Witch Project. Cold War Edition. So if you're ever camping in the Russian wilderness and hear low humming in the dark, just pretend you're in a rom-com. It's less terrifying that way. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.